One of the other things, people keep talking about inflammation. Like for a medical person, inflammation was calor, lubor, inflammation, all those signs of inflammation in the body when you fall down. You have swelling, you have redness, you have pain, you have inflamed. Now, what does a gut inflammation mean? And what are the things which would create inflammation for somebody? How would you diagnose that?
That's a brilliant question, doctor. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before. So yes, the inflammation you spoke about is very, very different. Now, gut inflammation, okay? Let's picture the gut, okay? You have your small intestine, and then between your blood and the small intestine, there's a thin fishing net. Let's imagine a very thin fishing net with small holes, okay? That's a perfect gut. And these small holes have little fingers that when the food gets broken down, small intestine, fermented, broken down, the vitamins, minerals, squeeze through those small holes in the fishing net, enter your bloodstream, and your blood carries it to all your trillions of cells. Now, over time, because I'm constantly acidic, or I'm not breaking down the food the right way, or I'm eating foods that cause inflammation, like maybe I'm celiac, but I'm eating gluten. Maybe I'm lactose intolerant, but I'm still consuming lactose. Those small holes in the fishing net get bigger and bigger. Okay? And the bacteria in the gut, because it's struggling to break down food, or it's allergic to certain foods, or it's unable to ferment certain bacteria and bad bacteria, both are required. But if the bad bacteria grows more than the good bacteria, because I'm feeding it what it likes, which is refined sugars, refined carbs, they grow with what we feed it. Now these bacteria start poking holes in that fishing syndrome, which equals inflammation of.
We have a mild bad connection from Luke. We should be continuing, but he's coming to something very interesting. Most misunderstood.
Bacteria traps gas. Okay. So what happens is, now, just to take it a step further, how this inflammation leads to autoimmune conditions. So now that thin fishing net kept out the wrong stuff. But now, because the holes are larger, certain molecules that are supposed to exit our body from the small intestine to the large into the rectum, it enters into our bloodstream. And it's not supposed to be there. So the immune system wakes up, it's on alert, and it starts to attack these molecules. There's something called molecular mimicry. Some of these molecules resemble the thyroid gland or the cartilage in the knees, and that's how you have a Hashimoto's thyroid, because your immune system attacks that. Or your skin, you have an eczema, psoriasis, or an arthritis, or a lupus, or a multiple sclerosis if it attacks the myelin sheath. So we'll treat all of that at a symptomatic level, but you can never leave the gut out, because the gut plays a huge role in autoimmune conditions. So that inflammation has to be reduced. So now I do a quick test. I want to look at the calprotectin levels of my patient, try to see, is it a problem with gluten? Or tell the patient, 1 week, no gluten, no dairy. And they say, wow, Luke, I'm feeling better, energetic, I'm digesting more food. We know that those foods were creating inflammation. So we keep them out while the gut heals. Now, like the normal immune system, the immune system gets a trigger to increase inflammation, and the interleukins also informs the immune system when to bring it down. The same thing happens with the gut. So if I can keep the enemy out of the gut heals. It gets stronger because inflammation comes down. So that is exactly what it is. So whether it's IBS, inflammatory bowel syndromes, the key factor, the root cause is inflammation. Sometimes it could be food. Sometimes it could be even dehydration. And in most cases, it can be stress. That's why, when people have exams or they're really nervous, why do they feel something happening in their gut? Some people with IBS want to pass motion after motion, because there's an immediate inflammation in the gut, which is turned on when our cortisol and adrenaline increases, okay? And that inflammation gives some people the urge to pass a motion. For some people, they feel a queasiness. Some people feel nauseous. So inflammation in the gut is a very exciting topic, and it affects even the way we think, feel, our brain fog, fatigue in the brain. So that is what inflammation in the gut is, and why it is so important for us to look at every medical condition with a connection of inflammation in the gut.
Brilliant. I keep telling a lot of patients who have eaten some food outside, they don't even know that they've digested a lot of bacteria, and then they complain of loose motions and vomiting.
Yeah.
Again, that's the best thing. You couldn't see those bacteria, but the body could filter them out. Let them be thrown off out of your system. Yeah. Huge load of bacteria will be out of your system without you knowing it. Don't try to treat them at that point in time. Treat your after effects later on.